It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a weekly podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes. So let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris.
My name is Mike.
I even gave him a heads up. I even gave him a little bit of a heads up earlier, but he couldn't do it. But this week, we got trailers galore with looks at Super Mario Galaxy, Masters of the Universe, Lobo, and Supergirl, Darth Maul, Shadow Lord, and more.
Yeah, we got first looks out of control here on this week's episode, and if your internet pipes ain't frozen, we hope that you enjoy this episode of Superhero Slate. We are experiencing a bit of a unifying event. You know, we'll be talking about the Super Bowl here. I feel like every week up until the Super Bowl happens because it's a media crazy event. But I like it because it's a unifying event. I'm not a big sports guy. You know, I don't really care about the football game, and I don't even really care so much about the athletics at the Olympics, because the Olympics are coming to LA, and I did like my pre-registration for my chance to get tickets for the Olympics coming up in 2028. I don't really care. I like unifying events where a lot of people can come together about one topic. And there's one happening right now in the United States.
Oh, yeah.
That is a gigantic polar storm that is basically whipping tush for I want to say 80% of the landmass of the United States.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, oh, Chris, you guys never get snow there. It'll shut you down. Not in Kentucky, we're used to this weather. I want people to know, it's not we are not a stranger to snow and cold weather here, for people who may assume we are. It's more of the southern states, but we are under, like I told Mike, I woke up, we had snow yesterday. I woke up to ice pelting off everything today. Right now it's it's below freezing. It's 8 degrees outside, but and we're getting more snow as we speak. So I'm hopefully the internet and power stayed on long enough for us to actually record something today, because I was very concerned we may not have power or internet. But here we are. We're doing the show, Mike. And I honestly thought you were going to bring up your topic on things that people are talking about across the internet, because I was like,
no one's talking about this.
No one's talking. I was like, it's interesting.
Honestly,
yeah.
I feel like I'm early on a trend here. And I kind of ass backwardly fell into it of what I'm calling quotation marks creamy drinks. The other week I popped into a local grocery store, and if anybody out there is familiar with kombucha at all, there's a brand called Hum. I would say Hum is the most approachable brand of kombucha on the market. You know, it's very, very sweet forward, the kind of vinegary taste that turns a lot of people off of kombucha is so far pushed to the back that honestly almost anyone can drink a Hum kombucha and they'll like it. And it's pretty much the only one I like too. I'm not really into the bitterness of the drink, but I came across a new variety they have. It's a nitro one. And I think we talked about this a couple years ago, because Pepsi had a nitro canned Pepsi that they had, and as far as I know, they're just pumping a bunch of I think nitrogen gas into the can, kind of like how they do with coffee and some beers. Yeah,
it's pretty much just again, nitrogen bubbles. It makes it tinier bubbles. It's not regular carbonation. It's tiny bubbles, giving it a as you're going to say, quote unquote, creamy look to it, if you will, like a Guinness or something.
Yeah, but the downside with the Pepsi that came out is they were only full sugar options. You could never kind of get something lower in guilt, if you will. But a Hum kombucha, I think, hovers around 20, 30 cals. So you pump some nitrogen gas in there. Ooh, it was good. It was a blackberry flavor, which I'm already on board with, and it was super creamy. So I kind of thought that was going to be my one-off cream event.
Phrasing. We don't. This is why we don't like using. That's why I don't like using this word on the show. But go ahead.
But I was at my local Target, and if anybody has watched like any fast food commercial in the last couple weeks, 2026 is the freaking year of protein. Like, they are trying to do anything to justify the rising costs of meat. So they're just saying like, hey, it's high protein. At least you're getting protein out of us gouging you. And like Chipotle is selling like high protein chicken, which is hilarious because it's the same chicken. Chicken is just high protein, just by definition. That's why all you see bodybuilders.
I love redundancy.
Chicken all the time.
I just love that. Yeah.
So that means
I was gonna say. I actually saw Starbucks. Starbucks has protein. They can do protein powder in their matcha drinks, or like a green tea matcha. Like, do you want a protein powder in here? I'm like, I'm not drinking this green tea to get jacked, folks. Believe me. I've seen that everywhere too.
I think there's been this now a wider availability for manufacturers to add in protein-based powders to their drinks that are unflavored. I saw like a protein seltzer at Costco a few months back, but like you had to like commit to like 18 cans, and I wasn't going to do that. But at my local Target, there's now a couple different brands that are doing protein energy drinks, and I had to get one out of sheer curiosity. And like one can, about the same size as a Celsius, 200 grams of caffeine, and then like 10 grams of protein. Like that's not so bad. I was expecting it to just taste absolutely awful, but I don't know if it's the protein powder like mixing with the carbonated gas or whatever, but it tasted like very, very creamy, just like that nitro kombucha that I had. So I would recommend it. There's like 2 other flavors that they had that I didn't get. I want to try that. Andy didn't like it at all. She hated it. She said that she could taste the grain very definitively from like the protein additive. I couldn't perceive it at all, so maybe it's like a roll flip of the coin if you're gonna like it or not. But yeah, weirdly enough, if you're feeling guilty about like choking down energy drinks, well, now you can throw a little bit of protein in there. Maybe you'll feel a little bit better about it.
That's what I'm drinking. I'm drinking Liquid Death. I got that the sparkling energy drink right now. I think this one's called like Murder Mystery. Anyway, but yeah, like I've seen the protein stuff. I do know, because we are Mountain Dew fans, Mike, and I believe you might be drinking a Dew at this moment. If I was to reach out through the internet and be like, he's probably drinking a Mountain Dew. The dirty, the cream addition to Mountain Dew is coming in cans very soon. And a guy we follow was like, I don't like it. He's like, he did not care for it at all. So I'm interested to see what those are like. If I can ever leave my house again, this might be how I live forever here under all the snow and ice at the end of the day. But, but yeah, on the flip side of that, Mike, I was doing that game lot I purchased. I think I mentioned on the show, I bought a bunch of games, old games, retro games, and there's a tote, a very large tote full of just Sega Genesis cartridges. I don't know if you had a Sega, Mike. Something, yes. So like if you had a Sega, you were of a different breed growing up, aka poor is how I like to describe it, because all the cool kids had Super Nintendos, but we had Segas. But I had been going through them, and like, I don't know, you remember blowing on cartridges as a kid and how they're like, don't do that. You shouldn't blow in cartridges because of the moisture in your mouth. So I've been going through with alcohol and Q-tips, cleaning all of these Sega Genesis pins, and then popping it in my Genesis to see if they work before I commit to keeping them or having to work on them further. And I have been committing to playing at least 5 minutes of every game I test to make sure it works, Mike. And I tell you what, some of those games do not hold up or stand the test of time. I'll tell you right now. The worst ones are actually the superhero ones. I was playing Spider-Man and the X-Men versus not Mojo. Who's the villain who's runs like a circus? It's an X-Men villain. I forget who he is. I don't know. It didn't hold up very well. Batman Returns also did not hold up very well. They had very similar swinging mechanics, where you had to shoot something at like a 45-degree catch and swing. But I played a lot of Tasmania. You remember Tasmania?
Okay.
Taz, the Tasmanian Devil. I played probably longer than I should have of that. I played more of Sonic. Sonic 2 just took me right back, getting those crystals, playing that stuff. Mortal Kombat 3, Beavis and Butthead for Sega Genesis, where you have to go buy or find pieces of Guar tickets that are torn up around the the stages. I've literally been reliving my 90s childhood doing these games. But I will tell you, the one thing I did notice, the one controller I have is a 6-button Genesis controller. Are you familiar with those? They have like the 3 in the bottom and then the 3 smaller on top. Growing up, I only had the 3-button, the A, B, and C. I didn't know some games, like Mortal Kombat, had more attacks you could do with the extra buttons. Like a high punch versus a regular punch. And I feel like I really got cheated out a lot of the options to play these games as a kid. Because I was like, what do you mean I can do more? Like Earthworm Jim, you can do more with these buttons than you could before? Like, I mean, I felt robbed this morning, this weekend, playing these games and discovering that. And if I could go back and tell myself something as a kid, I'm like, hey, tell your parents to get you the 6-button controller. You deserve better. You deserve better. But are there any Genesis games you remember? As someone who are there any that you remember having?
I was one of those like later in childhood Genesis owners where like we came across one. I think we were probably already like close to the next generation. My parents probably picked it up from somebody other's kid that had moved along. So like, I had like hand-me-down games. So I was like, I don't know what Ninja Gaiden is, and I put it in. I was like, what is happening? It was like so intense coming from like a Nintendo background where you're just like playing around with plucky little Mario, and then all of a sudden you're given like swords and you're like mutilating people. But outside of that, it was like going over to my aunt's house who had a Sega Genesis because she babysat a lot, and she had like the Sonic and Knuckles like cartridge extender where you like stacking the cartridges on top of each other. And I was at that age where like I didn't have the dexterity enough to like beat these kind of like Sonic games, so like I would always play like the same 2 levels like over and over and over again. Every time like I would go over like, all right, I'm gonna play this, and I'd get exactly as far as I got last time. So not a lot of nostalgia for Sega Genesis. More of a Super Mario guy. We went from regular NES to Genesis to N64, so we missed the Super Nintendo in our house, but that's fine. I will tell you, one of the games I was thoroughly impressed with playing was Gargoyles, based on the animated series from Disney. The every game back then I think had like a 60 frames per second animation, so like they really animated the hell out of those sprites for that character like playing through there. I'm like, oh, this looks good. This isn't just like a quick swap. They actually animated the whole action and back. So been fun playing that. I know we got some games to talk about here in game properties, I guess, in our stuff, but I've been enjoying that this weekend, and hopefully to maybe get through the rest of the day. My knees are not what they used to be, Mike. Sitting on the floor doing this was not the same experience I would have had, 30 years ago. So I definitely am going to have to figure out a tabletop situation, or I'm going to be miserable until the spring. Let's jump into some news. This is more for me. This is probably less for you, Mike, more for me. But this weekend was an event announced probably 6 months ago, the Dragon Ball Genki Dama Celebration Festival. And what it has been essentially since the creator of Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama, passed away, I think 2 years ago now, essentially everything's been on hold. They were like, what do we do? How do we continue? How do we keep this money-making machine going, right, at the end of the day? Because I know this, you probably know this, Mike, Dragon Ball is a money-making machine. Between the figures, the show, the movies, the video games, everything about this is just dollar signs galore. And Dragon Ball Super, which was the last TV series, ended was it 2018 to 2020 range. It was Toriyama had been writing more stuff, more books, and they've been adapting that. But he kept writing the books well beyond that, and he was writing them up until he passed away. So the stuff were Skeletor. So they've actually said, okay, we're actually going to take the stuff we haven't converted to an anime yet and convert it to an anime. So Dragon Ball Super Galactic Patrol is a continuation of the books that he's been writing or had written, and will probably his what's it called? It's not a benefactor. Someone he trained to take over for him, I guess. Protege, maybe. Protege.
Protege. It will probably continue writing, because he was animating them and helping with the writing as well. So this is coming out in 2027. On top of that is another anime series called Dragon Ball Super Beerus, which is actually a remake of the first arc of Dragon Ball Super that came out after the movie Battle of Gods. That was hilariously badly animated. Like, to the point, it is a parody online of how bad it is, Mike. I will slap you a few, like, an image over here. Because the movie Battle of Gods did so well, they literally gave the animation team no production time. Like, you got to make this, start now and go. And like you can tell now. So like the show from 1995 versus a picture from 2015, they literally did the least amount they could to kind of get this up and going. And a lot of people have called it out, made jokes of it over the past few years. And so they're going to redo that, kind of similar how Dragon Ball did Dragon Ball Z Kai, which is more manga focused, follows that same animation, different dialogue. They made a couple new things, but nothing drastic. They just cut it to be a little different. So we'll see what they do with this. And then another video game called Age 1000 that comes out in like 2 years. But I don't know much about that. But anyway, for Dragon Ball fans, someone who still watches it pretty frequently, I'm pretty excited about this. I needed something to look forward to this week, and Dragon Ball delivered, Mike, at the end of the week.
I was confused earlier this morning because somebody shared, I guess they animated some sort of like promo video to go along with this announcement. And in that video, they kind of reanimated some scenes from Dragon Ball. Yep. So I thought they were going back to Dragon Ball and reanimating it. And so I was really confused what the hell was happening. But it sounds like, no, it's a continuation on the current story.
Yes. So there are books, the manga you can go buy and read that will cover this. Obviously, the anime does make concessions and changes and adaptations because not all of it translates well. They also will do some filler episodes. I was watching Dragon Ball Z earlier while I was working on the SEGA stuff. And of course, the only thing that ever is on my just random Dragon Ball episodes is the Garlic Jr. saga, which is like not one of the best sagas ever. It's just filler content to get them to the next thing. And I'm like, why? So I did the math. I'm like, there are 10 episodes of Garlic Jr. saga in like 600 episodes here. I have a 1.67% chance of getting this grouping of episodes, and I do it every time. Like, I wish my lottery chances were this good, how I could do that. So, but yeah, if any more comes out of this and people are interested, let me know. I'm pretty excited. This is again, you watched Toonami growing up, Mike. You're familiar with Dragon Ball. I don't have to tell you, but like, I'm glad it's still found a life. 40 years later after it originally came out in the manga. So, pretty cool. Another thing that Michael's probably not going to have much to say about, but he might. He made the image this week about it. Is the Super Mario Brothers Galaxy movie, which is coming out later this year. We got a new trailer today on a Sunday, of all things, and it introduces Yoshi to the universe and some other fun little Easter eggs from Mario. Mike, we were talking about Mario or the Nintendo earlier, and we get some World 1-2 music, the Underworld tunes kind of going on with Mario and Luigi go into a cave. Yoshi's carrying the Super Nintendo Super Scope at one point with a dinosaur. We get Birdo, who is very much a problematic character in and of itself, and more in here.
Yeah, I figured everyone was going to be leading with the image of Yoshi. Even Nintendo's own official YouTube page has like Yoshi like front and center on the thumbnail, and I was just like, where's all the love for Birdo shooting the eggs? Like, this is a Birdo reveal. We didn't know Birdo was going to be in this movie and shooting eggs. And also, it seems to be taking place in kind of like a casino environment, and everybody like loves casino levels. Like kind of in the platform era, they're like so much fun. It's like the best way you can have an excuse to put a bunch of like flashing lights and like gold and neon
pinball flippers. People love making casinos as pinball levels.
Exactly. Well. So we are cornering the Birdo market right now on YouTube. If you're only clicking thumbnails based on Birdo content, so I did my best to find the clearest screenshot that I could.
You did great.
Birdo is in motion the entire time, so it's a little difficult.
The best part about Birdo is this character is very much iconic and recognizable at a distance, right? Introduced in Super Mario Brothers 2, Birdo has a storied past. I don't know if you know this, but in the original book for Super Mario Brothers 2, the game, Birdo is classified as a man dressed as a woman. He thinks he's a girl and dresses like a girl, and that has continued through the franchise, like the golf games and some other ones, like making references to this forever. But at the same time, I don't care. Like, that's not like how I describe Birdo. It's just a big pink, kind of Yoshi-esque character who shoots eggs out of its mouth, whereas Yoshi uses the other direction for eggs, if you will. Very thing. I like Yoshi. I think it's a great character. I mean, I was very concerned. I had flashbacks to the 1993 Super Mario Brothers movie where they introduced Yoshi, and it's like a little T-Rex or Velociraptor. And I'm like, oh my god, I remember the last time they gave me Yoshi for the first time, and I about freaked out because it wasn't Yoshi. It was just Jurassic Park in a mushroom-covered kingdom. But I'm good. I like the fireball, the fire flower effect in this. Like, when you see them use their fire flowers and it changes their outfit along the way. Luigi has the frog jumping costume. Again, it's just going to be another movie full of references to the game stuff, and that's what I'm here for. This isn't going to change my world. This is probably Chris Pratt's best outing this year. In case anyone has, unless you went ahead and seen whatever that AI movie was where he's on trial. What's it called? Mercy? Yeah. I heard that there's because he has 90 minutes to prove his innocence, the timer for the movie is in the bottom left the whole time. And they're like, I can't wait. It tells you how much longer you have to sit through the thing. So pretty funny to hear that. But Super Mario Brothers Galaxy movie, I think it's coming out in April. Yeah. We'll keep you guys posted. I'm going to be there. Mike may not, but I'm going to watch it when it comes out and we'll go over it. Moving on, surprise! Masters of the Universe gave us a teaser and a little teaser and then a teaser trailer introducing us or reintroducing people to the He-Man universe. Eternia, the sword, all the characters that you remember from having toys as a kid along the way. And I have never seen the internet react so positively to something like this before. I've seen people just being like, this is awesome. This looks great. I love seeing the characters. And Mike, I will honestly, at this moment, eat the crow where I thought, again, we could be proven wrong. Jared Leto, not necessarily him, but the reveal of Skeletor in full effect, like his full outfit, design, everything, fucking awesome looking. Like, he may ruin it with his voice and mannerisms, but goddamn, that Skeletor looked good in this trailer, Mike. So,
I mean, essentially, it's a similar execution to when he was the Hatbox Ghost in the Haunted Mansion movie that came out a couple of years ago. Like, his likeness is like nowhere involved in the character, and they don't even put his name up on the screen kind of roster as far as I can really tell. So they're really not marketing on his end. I mean, I believe he can do a spooky voice. It'll be interesting to see what his Skeletor voice is, though. It's such an iconic, goofy sounding thing. Like, it's a meme now. To hear Skeletor say something that's out of context for him, like, is just a joke in and of itself. But he looks, I mean, it looks almost so exactly like Skeletor. Like, you would think what was left on the draft room floor, right? Did they try any alternatives? Like, let's see if we can kind of change it up and come at it from a different angle, and then ultimately like, no, just Skeletor.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've seen. I don't know if you've seen the original He-Man or Masters of the Universe from like the '80s with Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella as Skeletor. He does a good one in that, but like this, like with the effects there, he's fighting this kid, Nicholas Galitzine, I think is his name, who plays He-Man. He looks the part. Even later on when we get the full reveal of He-Man in the doing the sky, the sword to the sky, he does his transformation is awesome. Idris Elba is Man-at-Arms. We get to see Roboto, Battlecat, the green Battlecat, Teela. Then on the villain side, we get Evil-Lyn, played by Brie Larson. Characters Fisto, Beastman is on a car, Spikor, Goatman. They just love naming these characters back in the early 80s, Mike. They just love naming them because they were just selling toys. This actually wasn't meant to be anything other than a toy seller. But I don't know. I'm on board. I don't know what it is. Like, is it because it's all in and they're giving us everything and it just seems to lean into it? It could be bad, but like, I don't know. I'm on board, Mike, and I'm not even like a He-Man like aficionado. I'm just ancillary to it. What do you think? I assume you're not very He-Man oriented yourself.
I know pretty much next to nothing about He-Man. I would say if my cable package picked up anything close to He-Man, it was Thundercats, and even that was kind of sparse. So that's kind of the closest I am to this kind of Hanna-Barbera generation of like action toy selling in a way.
Yeah.
But the trailer gave me vibes of kind of like the original Mario movie meets like the Dungeons and Dragons Chris Pine movie. I could easily see this coming out and like kind of surprising everybody, like maybe not making a ton of money, but like, oh, it was good, surprisingly well executed. I think I looked up the writer and director after the trailer, but I don't remember who was attached to it at all. But I mean, nothing really blows me, out of the water here, but nothing is.
I talked about it. It's
scaring me.
It's Travis Knight who did Bumblebee, the Bumblebee movie.
Oh yeah, the Leica. Yeah, and the writer is also a Leica person.
Yeah,
if I remember right. So yeah, they're coming from this like stop motion animation background. And I feel like they're taking the tone appropriately, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're going to transition this into live action, you got to be kind of silly and campy with it. And the lead seems to be very jokey. Like when he goes into the comic book store and he tries to grab the sword, and he's like, "No, it's mine."
Yeah.
So I think they're getting the tone about right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. Again, this we talked about this show was made to sell toys. Like it's G.I. Joe. It's Transformers, it's Master of the Universe era stuff, right? So like a lot of them were not there to, that wasn't there to tell a big story. But I am excited to kind of see this, kind of, I don't know how it plays off, because it's like a mixture of like, again, like it's kind of Conan the Barbarian, I would say, probably more than you'd say Mario Brothers. Like Conan the Barbarian meets Dungeons and Dragons more than anything else. But like, I always think many faces is like one of the character toys later. I'm like, are they gonna give us many faces? But yeah, I will say right now, Jared Leto's name's not on it. That Skeletor blew my mind. I half expected it to just be Jared Leto, who then becomes Skeletor later. But they actually gave us something, awesome. And we get to see Eternia, Castle Grayskull, all this other fun stuff. So. If you're a fan of Master of the Universe, buckle up. I'm going to see it, and I'm not even really that into it. Moving on to characters who may look like they could fit into Masters of the Universe. We have our first look at Jason Momoa's Lobo in a 30-second Supergirl spot called Blast Off. So we kind of get the first half of this trailer, if not most of what we've already seen. And then we get to see a cigar chomping, motorcycle riding Jason Momoa dressed up as Lobo. This could be a cosplay from any convention with Jason Momoa in it, to be completely honest. But it's good. It's fun. He's gonna be chewing some scenery. He's got his big I don't know what they're called, the hook scythe in his hands coming out here. I also want to call it that this is the second cigar smoking motorcycle riding character this year. The other one coming up in One Piece that we've talked about. But he's got 2 cigars and his motorcycle floats on water. But you sent this to me, but I'd already seen it. James Gunn did it looked like an on-set video with Jason Momoa when they were filming this movie, getting ready to introduce him, I guess. Like you mentioned, you're not so sure Jason Momoa didn't know who Lobo was. I feel like I don't know. I feel like the other way. I feel like that's all he's ever wanted, and he's like, I saw fan art of me once, and I want to do it.
I'm not saying he doesn't absolutely want to do the role, but there seems to be this kind of loose narrative being constructed that he's wanted to play this character his entire life. Mm-hmm. Right, like kind of, it's an easy thing to say for an actor if they're cast as like Batman or Superman, right? These are like iconic characters that every kid grows up with. Like, of course, it's such an honor to play this character that has been around my whole life. But the average person has no freaking clue who Lobo is. and I don't think Jason Momoa ever had this character on his radar until the fans started casting him as Lobo, and then he was just, and then he did the smart thing of like jumping on board and getting hype for it. But there seems to be this like weird narrative, just like, oh, it's finally happening. Jason Momoa finally gets to step into the boots and ride the chopper of Lobo, and it's just like he had no idea who this was until his agents were just like, "Hey, you're catching a little bit of heat as like Lobo out there on the internet. You're trending, my guy." And he's like, "Oh, who's this character?"
Boss Logic made a photo, and you should see who it is. Check it out. And he's probably like, "Who's Boss Logic?" But yes,
exactly. So like, and honestly, the enthusiasm to me just more feels like, hey, I get to keep working. Awesome. I love jobs. I love being on movie sets. So to me, it rings a little, false, but still, I will not deny he looks amazing as Lobo, and the energy fits.
Well, I think that energy is what this character is known for. That, right? Like, essentially, not a Deadpool, but like a very overly confident, cool, 80s metal looking dude who rides his motorcycle through space as a bounty hunter kind of dude. Like, I get it. Like, I understand the cool factor with this. But like, again, like, this is what I say. This is the 4th Jason Momoa movie this year. And, I will say this looks like, I haven't seen him as Blanca yet, but I will say this is up there. If Blanca could surpass it as the best one, but, I will again eat that crow when it comes, but this one looks like the best one of his roles this year so far. And it's probably a cameo. I'm gonna guess like 5 minutes a movie. You think? Like he probably shows up at one of the space outpost bar place, and then again later.
Really?
Like, I don't think he's that big of it.
I disagree. I think he's gonna be like the guy. I mean, I don't know if he'll be billed as like the villain.
No, they've already said that. We already know who the villain is.
Well, that's what I like. I think he's definitely going to be like, if we are comparing it to like maybe Fantastic Four, I think like Lobo will be like the Silver Surfer kind of equivalent, to Harold. But I think he'll be a real presence in the movie.
Yeah, I'm going to lean the other way. I think he's a bounty hunter. He's going to be chasing her. So like, we might get 3 total scenes with him. Maybe 10 minutes tops, but I think he's going to be just ancillary, kind of, maybe, because like, we have the villain who's the Crim of the Yellow Hills. We know that, who Supergirl's kind of after. So like, why? I've not read this comic book, and I don't know if Lobo's even in the series. But why? Who is he after? Is he after Supergirl, or is he after the other guy as well? Like, maybe like he's a competing bounty hunter before Supergirl gets to him and kills him, or something. He needs him alive. I don't know.
This could be a classic like team up in the 3rd act. Like keep my enemies close.
Yeah, we saw what they are on set in a battle at some point. I think she's in the Supergirl outfit, so we'll see. But like, I'm gonna lean the other. I think we'll find out this summer which one it is. I don't like the Call Me song by Blondie. It's a big turnoff, but that's a personal preference. We'll see. We're gonna stick in DC for just 1 second here. Batman, the Brave and the Bold, has got a writer in with Christina Hodson, who is known for writing other DC properties, The Flash and Birds of Prey. Box office winners, Mike. Will be writing the draft of the movie for Brave and Bold for DC. She also wrote Batgirl before it was canned by Warner Brothers for taxes, and the unmade or ungreenlit Batman Beyond movie that we heard about was it 2 years ago now, I guess, maybe a year or 2 ago. I don't know what to make of this.
I feel very bad for her. Like, every property that she's touched has some sort of external factor that she could not have, really anticipated or planned for. And also, she's just the writer. She wouldn't have been able to do much anyway. I mean, The Flash, the problems around that movie are obvious, and it was like the fruit was already dying on the vine. As that movie was getting kicked off. And
I think she was like maybe the 4th or 5th writer. Like, I don't blame her for everything. She was probably just in there to get it across the finish line.
Birds of Prey, unfortunately, that came out during kind of like the just like the ickiness of the Snyder universe, where people had really turned on it at that point of just like, oh, this Birds of Prey is like, it's like a nice light in the middle of all of this, but this whole universe is so weird. We don't even know where to take these characters anymore. And then Batgirl, that sucks. I'm sure the Batman Beyond project maybe could come back and she can kind of get some of that, but it seems like she finally gets a chance maybe to make something wholly of itself if Matt Reeves' Batman hopefully doesn't conflict with whatever.
So what's fun about this is that one of her movies that I have enjoyed watching, and we've already talked about it, is actually Bumblebee. She was the writer of Bumblebee while Travis Knight who directed it, so the Master of the Universe guy. So pretty good there. She's also I did pull this up here in my notes. She is will work on Fast 10 Part 2, or like she did work on Fast 10 Part 2, and then she was also attached to that Pirates of the Caribbean movie with Margot Robbie that was eventually canned. She's popular in circles in Hollywood, just not Warner Brothers, I guess. Like, you know, I'd love to see her get something across the finish line, but I assume it's not her fault, right? Like when you look at like the writer could not kill a movie Pirates of the Caribbean reboot. Like that's not. It's like, oh, we had one bad script, can the whole thing. Like that's what writers are for, right? Like the scripts, story pitches. So I don't believe it's her, but like she is getting a lot of flack online for this, and I'm like, I don't know if it's her fault, but I assume there will be lots of stabs at this Batman movie before it actually comes to fruition because they need to get it right, you know. So, long story short, I agree with you. I think we'll be okay. The last trailer we had a lot of trailers, a lot of footage pop up this week. New year, new trailers. We had a full teaser trailer for Maul Shadowlord, the Darth Maul mini-series that's coming out on April 6th. We'll release bi-weekly, and then the last ones will be on May the 4th. This is set in the Clone Wars universe and set after the Clone Wars show, but before A New Hope, because he dies in Rebels. He dies in Rebels, so it'll be before Rebels. And I again, this is me, and I know there's an audience for this. The Clone Wars animation, the Clone Wars style, Sam Witwer returning as Darth Maul. I'm enamored with this. I'd love to go back. I'm glad it's a mini series and not a continuing kind of show where you have to watch multiple seasons. But I love coming back to this. It looks like it's on Coruscant. We also get to see him interact with some Jedi on the run, and one of them is a Twi'lek who will become I forget her name. It's that Twi'lek that was like the Legends series 20 years ago. She looks like Darth Maul. Has the same body like painting as Darth Maul. So she'll be making her debut in here. He throws his light. I love, again, the thing with Sith is they're not afraid to kill people. Compared to like the Jedi, so him throwing his lightsaber blade through stormtroopers, pretty awesome. We're gonna get to see some returns of some of the like Merrick, which are some of the what are they called, the sisters and brothers of the Force, who are like the Inquisitors. The Inquisitors who are hunting down Jedi are also being sent to hunt him down by the Emperor because he wants him dead. I'm excited to see this because, like I said, we know his ending. We know where he came from. I love to see what they build in this little story here.
That's an interesting. I just looking through it the first time. It's an interesting evolution to see this art style kind of get polished over the decades, right? Because it was invented. Feels like so long.
08 was the first debut.
Yeah. Yeah, and you might even argue that like Genndy Tartakovsky's like work on the 2D stuff really kind of influenced the 3D style. But there's a shot where I kind of love and hate this shot at the same time, where Maul is coming out of the ship around 45 seconds.
Yeah,
and you just see all of this like texture and lighting and like dings around the hull of the ship. But then it's like the most cliche Star Wars shot you see in your life is a hooded character with the lightsaber pointed out, and then it turns on. I wish we could think of another visual language to introduce an ominous character like that. But Yeah, it looks beautiful, but as everything animated, I will do what I always do, which is not watch it, but then Chris will tell me if anything needs to be pulled out of it.
Yeah, I don't think there's much going on here. There's a shot around 114. We get to see Maul and two other Zabrak people with him. It looks like he's got like a crew of they're not Night Sister like Night, but like his like the same people he is, if you will, like the same species. And he like tears up in a hall, and then like one of them has a minigun. So it looks like there's going to be quite a bit going on here. We get to see some Mandalorians later with the flamethrower. And Maul has a history with the Mandalorians from the show. I'm excited to see kind of what it pulls in, because this is again this is for fans of the Clone Wars. That's why it's on Disney Plus. So I'm excited to come in and watch it and then report back to you, Mike. I guess not every week when it's done, because 2 episodes a week leading up to May the 4th. Will there be a May the 4th announcement tied to Darth Maul? I highly doubt it, but we'll see if they have anything else to milk out of this universe. They are going back to the original trilogy quite a bit. Not post Kathleen Kennedy, pre Kathleen Kennedy. Have we talked about the park in Disneyland doing the Galaxy's Edge being rethemed to original trilogy Star Wars?
They had that super strict rule of Batu was just to be the sequel trilogy characters only, but then all of a sudden like Luke Skywalker starts popping up and they're like, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? So I think they're like doing like a physical division like down the middle of the land, where like if you're looking at it on a map, I think like the left side is one era, the right side's the other era.
Yeah, Oga's Cantina, the Millennium Falcon era, like that little section where you build your lightsaber is going to be original trilogy, and I think everything else will be sequel trilogy.
It's like I truly appreciate all of the thought that goes into making these themed lands, because that's what you're paying for when you go to these parks. Like the highest immersion that you can get. Nothing else like this exists anywhere else on the planet. But also sometimes it's just like, let me see Han Solo, please. Like I just want to see Han Solo. Like get these Knights of Ren out of my face. Like I don't want to think about this trilogy.
Yeah, well, exactly, and that's it's, there's nothing there. I think they really what was the first movie, Force Awakens? Like they really like, okay, everyone's on board with the Force Awakens, let's do that. But like I want to go back to the old stuff. I miss the old stuff. I don't mind the newer scenes in what's it called? My favorite ride there at Star Wars Land, and I can't even think of it. The
Smuggler's Run.
No. My favorite one.
Rise of the Resistance.
Nope. The one where the seats move and tilt around, that has been there for 20 plus years.
Oh, Star Tours.
Star Tours.
Not in the land.
It's not. Oh, you guys don't have that in Disneyland. Sorry.
No, we do, but Star Tours is in Tomorrowland. It's not in Galaxy's Edge.
Okay, that's right. I remember that because the line was super long when we went the first time. Then we went back, but yeah, it's in Hollywood Studios in Disney World on the way there. So I love that stuff. But anyway, long story short, looks like this could be the end, maybe the end of the Clone Wars animation series, unless they come and announce some stuff. I would be interested in taking this animation into the original trilogy era, Mike. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't think we have to keep it in the Clone Wars middle between 3 and 4 era, but with new leadership and new goals, we may see them be doing different things going forward. Wonder Man is hitting Disney Plus this week. Reviews are starting to roll out. So expect spoilers. If you want to avoid them, go ahead and do that. All episodes are dropping January 27th, all 8 of them. The buzz I've heard, Mike, is all good from all channels, even the ones who would normally would be like, I hate Marvel TV shows. So I'm cautiously optimistic about this. They say it is a cure for superhero fatigue because it's not a superhero show. It's a show about Hollywood that happens to have powered people in it. We'll see how true that rings when it drops. Is it Tuesday? I think.
Yeah, Tuesday would be the 27th.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm sure. I don't know if the runtimes have been published or not, but since this seems very comedic forward, I think we're looking at half hours.
They are sub 30 minutes.
Yeah, so
episodes.
we're definitely going to be able to crush this before next week's episode. So I'm sure we'll be talking all about Wonder Man next week. And you know me, if you've been listening to this show long enough, I love TV shows about making TV shows. So this is like right up my alley.
And they've had
That there isn't. That means but there is a high bar for them to clear. If I don't, if it doesn't quite reach my niche, I might hate it more than anyone else in the world. So we'll find out. Tune in next week, find out.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's literally below the fucking fold here. Yeah, I was looking at to see. I'm not enabling ads for Rotten Tomatoes because I don't even want to be here. I was just looking to see they have it as certified fresh, Mike, officially certified fresh, which is early. I guess they have enough reviews to do that. So I am excited to see what that kind of looks like this week. I've got a lot of questions. I'm trying to go in as blank as I can. Ben Kingsley coming back, absolutely. The actor who plays Simon Williams, love him. He did good in not Aquaman. He was in Aquaman, but he did better in Watchmen, the Watchmen TV series. That was on HBO. So excited to see this and see how it ties into this. I don't think it'll tie into the larger Marvel universe. Like we've talked about this. This is a spotlight, so it'll just be on this character, and then hell, it might even be the last spotlight we ever get out of Marvel, kind of going forward for that. So we'll talk about it next week. Also, coming up later this year, everyone's like, "Oh, where's the Daredevil stuff? Where's the?" They're not going to advertise Daredevil before Wonder Man's out. Well, yeah, we know this. So Vincent D'Onofrio, he's out doing some interviews. He's somewhere. He said Born Again Season 2 is returning in March, as we previously seen. And the trailer should be arriving, quote, very soon for this. So I'm going to guess as soon as Wonder Man wraps up, like after this week, next week, we'll be talking about a Daredevil trailer. Like once that's out in the world.
I feel like whenever a streaming show kind of has a big series returning, especially at the beginning of the year, I feel like the first look is going to be wrapped up into more of like a Disney Plus trailer. Like this could be a Super Bowl spot, not just for Daredevil though. Like everything coming to Disney Plus in the year 2026. I'm sure they'll highlight, Zootopia 2 that's going to be on Disney Plus this year. The biggest movie of last year, only on, Disney Plus. Daredevil's returning. What else? I guess they could showcase Maul if they wanted to show a lightsaber. But I don't think there's any other live action Star Wars stuff that would be
Ahsoka.
Disney Plus. Is that season 2 this?
Yeah, season 2 will be this year, yeah. Okay. At least it should be.
Have a little bit of footage.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have like something, like a quick shot to show. But yeah, I would anticipate a Disney Plus trailer with a little bit of Daredevil.
And when did you say you think that's coming out? Like after Wonder Man, or like is there an event? I'm sorry.
For what the
you just think during the Super Bowl it'll be there. Okay.
But it'll be packaged in a Disney Plus generic, like for the service trailer.
Gotcha. I didn't know if it was going to be like one of those like Disney Plus will do like a, hey, here's 20 seconds, go watch it on YouTube kind of event kind of thing. But
maybe, never know.
Now there's a lot of content coming out. We've talked about a lot of trailers at the top of the show. Everything we've mentioned so far is coming out this year, which is scary that there's a lot of stuff coming out this year. So it's not scary. It's just last year I didn't feel like we had a lot, and this year it feels like it's even more. So it feels like we're kind of getting on that 2.5 year production cycle. So we'll be getting some of that. But yeah, I guess Super Bowl could be if they're coming. I guess you're right. I guess a Daredevil. They could do a dedicated Daredevil trailer though. I mean, the more I think about it, because of how popular the character is, and the fact that it's one of the very few. Are there any other live action shows? Daredevil and Loki got season 2s, right? Is there another show that has a season 2 from Marvel live action?
They could. Well, actually, this makes me think even more. Maybe they'll do like some sort of like Vision Quest tease.
Yeah,
possibly. I don't know if there's any photography that has started on that.
Oh, it's done. I think it's been wrapped for a little bit.
Okay. I'm definitely thinking Disney Plus trailer then. That just showcases
all of it. Okay. All right. I think there'll be also an online trailer for Daredevil. I think maybe it'll be after the Super Bowl then. But March is going to sneak up on us before we know it, man. It'll be here, and we won't know what to do with that. So we'll keep you guys posted. Come back every week, and we'll tell you if it's out or not, because you definitely won't know. So we have all the secrets here in our show notes. Last bit of news along the way here: Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday. I have been trying to convert an old device, a 14-year-old Fire tablet, into a Doomsday countdown clock timer. And it's not working, Mike. I've told you this. I need to see if someone's just made like a web app that's the same timer rather than a video feed. Maybe that's my problem for this, because Doomsday is this year. It's coming in December, and the rumors are always flying about this. Will we get something? Will we not get something? One of the more prevalent rumors right now is this movie could be up to nearly 3 hours long. And I feel like that is not probably a stretch of a rumor based on how much they need to put in there and catch us up on.
Yeah, I saw another rumor that much more rumory than this, that Secret Wars could be split into 2 movies. So I feel like if you're kind of trying to follow the theme here, is they got a lot of ground to cover. They have a lot of actors that are going to return that they got to fit on screen. Honestly, it feels extremely overwhelming to me, knowing just that, like, I don't want to say my fandom is on the line, because it's not that intense. You know, this is not going to stop me from living my life. But man, do I just want to recapture the glory that was like 2019, right? Like going into the theater after Infinity War and experiencing something like Endgame was just like, as the kids would say, peak, right? And I just feel like the odds of ever getting back there exactly the same are 0. But like, how close can we get, you know? So whenever I see these rumors, I'm always just like, does this make me feel good, or does this make me feel bad? Does it make me feel nervous? Does this make me feel better? So,
well,
I don't know. Obviously, more is better. Like, could you imagine if the rumored runtime was like 90 minutes?
Yeah.
What's happening in this movie? Nothing?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, 3 hours makes me feel better. Like, I'm not worried about it, because it's the same writers, same directors who was somehow able to pull off in-game and Infinity War with this, like, a similar amount of characters, right? Like, you know, of who we know. So I'm not that worried about shoving too much into a movie. I am interested in the plot points and, you know, all these quote unquote teasers we've got over I want to say this, but 3 hours, like maybe 2:45, right? How long was Avengers Endgame? And I'm going to type this into Google while we're doing live. Endgame was 3 hours and 2 minutes. Did that feel like 3 hours and 2 minutes when you think back on it, though?
I mean, I was just so engrossed the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're in something like Endgame that is kind of wrapping up all of this, it's like a culmination of like a decades of like film. You're just kind of like, you're in it. You don't even care if it's like too long.
Yeah. Well, it's like the Avatar movie. The Avatar movies are 3 hours, and they never feel like 3 hours. The last two. Infinity War was 2 hours and 29 minutes, so maybe it could lean into the 2 hour 45 to start, and then obviously Secret Wars is confirmed to be filming March and July of this year, and that's way ahead of time, so they will have more time to wrap up, do more. You mentioned the rumor of splitting Secret Wars into 2. If they did 2.5 hour movies, what do you think about that? Like a little longer, not 2 3-hour movies. Would that, like? I don't want them to push the soft reboot longer, because, like, again, I feel shortchanged that this is our only second outing of Shang-Chi in 6 years, 6.5 years by the time it wraps up. Like, there are characters who could be getting solo movies. Where's our Doctor Strange movie? You know, like, where's the ones that we really want? I don't want to wait another year to do, like, Avengers movies 3 years in a row, if that makes sense, with nothing else in between them.
Well, yeah, it makes you wonder, too, if it's split into 2 films, like, how is it going to be split, right? Are we talking about 12 months in between them? You know, less than that?
I assume 12 based on history, but you're right, it could be less.
Maybe this is like a filmmaker strategy. Maybe the Russo brothers are like, the studio gets really, really mad at us when these movies are over 3 hours long. So let's just start floating the rumor out there that we might have to split this into 2 movies. So when we say, oh, we thought this was going to be 2 movies, but somehow we've been able to cut it down to like 4 hours, then they know in the back of their heads they can get this down to 3. It's like it's all a compromise, right?
Yeah.
This is the studio wants like 2 hours 20 minutes. They're trying to get it to 3, and maybe this is all just like volleying the tennis ball back and forth.
Well, you know what I also wouldn't be surprised if they're also like listening to the internet. Like, are people okay with this? Is it what's the regular public sentiment? Not us.
Well, now that we had the official confirmation somewhat recently, within the last year, right, that Ryan Reynolds intentionally leaked that Deadpool test footage like all those years ago. Like, he did it on purpose. Like, there was no accident. It was him. He's like, I did that.
Yeah.
So this stuff obviously happens in Hollywood. Like, an executive will say no all day, but as soon as you can point to any sort of like virality out there, their mind all of a sudden changes. So
yeah, and they've got time to think about it. This isn't going to be a last minute pull the Band-Aid off thing. They could film it and be like, we've got too much here or not enough and we need to fill it, or they'd be like, this is perfect the way it is. They've built in a buffer to get it right, I feel, rather than make a last minute pull. Because if it's filming through July, by the time we get to Comic-Con this year, we'll still have a year and a half until Secret Wars, right? Like, I feel like that's like there's nothing carved in stone. They can easily be swapping stuff around, and that's fine. The studios know what they want, but I don't want to see a delay. I don't want to delay the X-Men. I don't want these characters that we are seeing be pushed back even further, because that's the problem post Endgame, right? We got all these characters, but no one came back. No one got second chances yet because they moved too fast. And some of those phases, that's true, but they were shorter phases beforehand. They were 3-year cycles, 4-year cycles. We're on a 6-7-year cycle by the time we get 6.5. By the time we get to Endgame, Spider-Man's the only person who had 2 movies in this entire time. And I would love to have more characters be around more, because we don't need more characters. We need better stories, Mike. And I think you could probably agree with that kind of on the journey along the way. But either way, by next week, I hope to have an Avengers Endgame counter on like this 14-year-old tablet sitting at my desk so I can look at it and just reference it. Like right now, 10 months, 22 days, Mike, before we go. So,
look, we have a relatively newer Amazon Fire tablet. I mean, it's the cheapest one they sell. We bought it just so we could use it as a backup baby monitor, and this thing, it like, I feel like it's like crying every time I turn it on to try to have it like host like a video stream from like a baby cam. Like, it just like, I'm surprised it's alive every day I look at it. So good luck with your 12-year-old one.
Yeah, I did factory reset it and working on it, but like again, if I went to just youtube.com and it's like, nah, we're not playing anything here. Good luck. You're not getting a thing at all. So hopefully it's something that someone can maybe make a web app instead of a video, and maybe that'll play in there. But who am I to say? Mike, that's our episode. That's it for the week. I'm not cold, but I need to go put a hoodie on. I've been, I was hyped getting warm for this episode, but now I'm like, all right, it's cooling off. Gotta go get that warmed up.
It's a win. Both of our internets held up. My just crappy over the air internet that sometimes is great and sometimes it's not, but it is cheap, and that's what I love about it. And your internet, which could have just literally frozen into ice crystals.
Yeah. Have you heard about exploding trees? Have you seen that trend here?
I did. Apparently they don't, like, as far as I can tell, they're not literally exploding so much as like it's almost like a hot dog. Like, when you cook it too long, it kind of like the seam bursts at the side.
I've seen the seam. Yeah, like the seam bursts, but then the rest crumbles under it, kind of thing. And I'm like, this feels. I feel like everyone's just giving it a fancy name for things I already assumed would happen to some trees out in the wilderness. So, I don't know. Either way, we're gonna go. I'm gonna go do that.
Checking on your squirrel friends, make sure that they're okay.
I
need a new home.
I saw a squirrel outside digging in the snow. He under a tree. We have hickory nuts in our trees. So he buried some under there. He was out digging in the snow earlier. He was hanging in there. We had the fireplace on yesterday, like on full blast, and our cats were just like in high heaven here. They were like, "This is awesome. Do this more often." But if people want to know what you're up to, what you're doing, how nice your weather is out on the West Coast, where can people find you at?
Oh, you can read my webcomics at liferewardsrisk.com or pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to catch up with you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Valdan87, VALDAN. I've been a big fan of the Muppets coming up next month. I think it's not this week, right? It's 2 weeks.
How did we not talk about that? We should have put that in the show notes.
Yeah, well, I think it's next week. I want people to be fresh. I don't want to remind people about the Muppets this week and then miss next week, because I need everyone on board watching Muppets so we can bring this back along the way. But if people want to more about the show, where we come back every week with all these trailers, all these links, all these notes, where can people get all these goodies at?
Yes, our land of Eternia, which is the only kind of deep cut I know about He-Man. It's the name of the place he lives. Our Eternia is at superheroslate.com. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you love listening to podcasts. And I say listening, too, because I swear every, top 10 podcast on the charts is all, professionally, videotaped. So it's not even a podcast anymore. It's like a talk show. People are just making talk shows for iTunes. And it's not even called iTunes anymore. Wow. We are an old school radio show over here, I guess. So we are over at superheroslate.com. And if you want merch, superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. Reach out. Let us know what you're excited for this year. We got a lot of trailers in this episode, so a lot to be excited for. And if you want to be a super fan of the show, all you have to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and I hope your pipes thaw by next week, folks.
That's right. We will catch you and your creamy sodas next week.
Oh, God, bye.